Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey. It is Sunday, December the 29th, 2013. This is episode number 73 of Brave the Wild. And very, very safe to say this is the final Brave the Wild episode of 2013. Yeah, we'll be back in 2014. Yeah, anyhow, I'll get back to it. This is episode number 73 of Brave the Wild. We are available on thesportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a pleasure to be back here, braving the airwaves with you. Hopefully, somehow, some way, making your workday a little more pleasant, or just something a little less frustrating, we'll say. Not that there's anything positive to talk about really right now, unfortunately, but you get the idea. Hopefully this is some type of a distraction from your busy work schedule one way or another, if you're listening while working, which I'd like to do, or while doing chores around the house or whatever. Hey, that's what podcasts are all about, I think. Something to enjoy whenever you can on the go. All right, well, I'm writing solo once again. Not sure when Neil's going to be back. It's just one of those things. He's doing, from what I know, he's doing just fine, but hasn't really been able to keep up of late. So it's just one of those things. Hopefully we'll get him back sooner rather than later. I'll just leave it at that. Great shout out to him, though, of course. Yes, this Happy New Year to him, of course, from Mark Carlson. We'll just get to the Facebook page right out of the gate here. Just get to it right now, and then I can get on to my, get on to our spiel here with the last 5 games. Of course, I'm going to I'm going to try to keep it brief for the most part with the game reviews, because there's 5 of them, so you get the idea. I'm going to try to do the best I can to be quick and to the point with that. So yes, the Facebook page, simply type in the search bar on Facebook, Brave the Wild, Minnesota Wild Show. Go there and click like, and then please post. We could use more posters on there. It would be very much appreciated. There's a Twitter account also, twitter.com/Brave the Wild, or of course just at Brave the Wild, all one word. And there is a call-in line, which is 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention what show you're calling into, which is Brave the Wild, or just say, hey, Joey, and then start talking about the Wild. I guess that would be a pretty good indicator as to which show you're calling into. So, yes, Mark Carlson was a couple posts from him and from his wife, Cindy. He says, I'm going wild tonight in Iowa. The rest of my family are cheering for the Jets. Ha-ha. Sure to be a good game. Thanks for what you do, Joey. I enjoy your podcast. Mark from Iowa. And thank you, Mark. I really, really appreciate that. This show needs all the love it can get, obviously, as do any podcast, of course. Not saying it's like, oh no, woe is me. But hey, we need some more listeners. I've been doing the best I can trying to keep up with this show and bringing a good product to the listeners. I mean, heck, I think I'm bringing a good product, and if you think I am, an improved product from the past, of course. So just saying, because every show needs to improve all the time. Every show that ever existed needs to improve something. But yeah, if you do like the show, do rate us on iTunes. Very simple. Look, obviously you find us on iTunes and give us a rating. Not hard to do. Okay, anyhow, Mark Carlson saying Happy New Year, Joey and Nate. Thank you very much. It's Neil, but Nate Dogg is his nickname. And Sydney Carlson was saying, Mark says I have to say something, so good luck tonight. Go Jets. Why do all of you have to like the Jets? I'm starting to hate that team now. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's just get right to it. Hell with all this talking around. Okay. Remember all those predictions I had on the last show? Oh, man. Well, yeah, I predicted the Wild would lose to Pittsburgh, but then come back and beat New York and beat Philadelphia. Yeah, they're all road games, but they're out east. And these are Eastern Conference teams. They're inferior. They're the Leastern Conference. We're the Western Conference, right? West and the East. Yeah, well, I did pick us to lose to Pittsburgh, even though they were very, very, very depleted. Because Nicholas Backstrom's in net. Nicholas Backstrom doesn't spell victory these days. Remember when it did? It was nice, wasn't it? It was fantastic when Nicholas Backstrom spelled victory. In fact, it was year in and year out. But he's hit some type of wall, be it age, be it injuries over the years, or just all the above. I think it's all the above. Backstrom has no range anymore in the net. He got his ass kicked by this still skilled Pittsburgh Penguins team because they still have Chris Kunitz, who really emerged last year. Of course, Sidney Crosby's healthy. I know there's no Malkin, but there's Pascal Dupuis, who always seems to be a pain in the ass for the Wild. He always shows up in the box score when they play against the Minnesota Wild. This was a 4-0 game about midway through, and Jason Pominville and Danny Heatley added goals later in the game. But it's you just kind of knew the Wild weren't going to win. I mean, you had a little bit of hope, a little inkling of hope, but then it was just, same old garbage, same old weak garbage. But here's the thing. Now, I come on here ripping Backstrom, saying how his range is no good. That's very true, but the theme of this episode right now, I mean, how many horrible defensive lapses does this team have to have before, somebody gets their head knocked out? I mean, the one-timers that have been given up by this team, now this is brushing with a broad stroke over these past 5 games, which were all losses, by the way, if you've been living in a cave, or if you just, if you're more of a casual Wild fan. Yes, the Wild lost all of them. We've been giving up one-timers of late that there's nobody there. Like Scandella, I believe this was one of the Pittsburgh goals. All he had to do was put a body on the guy, maybe give him a little shove, and there would never have been a goal. Maybe the shot would have been on goal, but it wouldn't have been as clean and easy. Scandella's just standing there. And this happened more than once. Keith Ballard has had some lapses. The turnovers have been all over the place with just about everybody. Whatever. Ryan Suter's starting to get on my nerves, actually. He's kind of like Scandella at times. He gets caught sleeping on defense at times. Ryan Suter's offense, there's no doubt about it, and his overall hockey IQ is great, but boy, there are times he gets caught sleeping, and it is not pretty, ladies and gentlemen. And the frustration is all over the place. It's across the board right now. Zach Parise, speaking of frustration, his foot injury. Remember that sore foot issue where he got hit by a puck against St. Louis? And then, he's back. He's back playing. Yes, sir. Well, it's not healed yet. And they've had to put him on IR because it just got worse, basically. It just didn't get better. It's a combination of things. So, very unfortunate circumstance there. In fact, yeah, he did play in the Pittsburgh game, but, yeah, things just kept going further and further downhill from here. Now, I did mention how, yes, Harding was out for 3 games. Finally, he did return tonight. He was on the IR, but now Parise's on the IR because of that sore foot. So, yes, the Wild lose 5-2. To keep it very brief and to the point, against the Pittsburgh Penguins, despite the fact they were depleted, the Minnesota Wild defense looks terrible right now. I mean, to be very blunt, the Wild defense is terrible right now. And, but there is a certain, there's a certain person right now that I'm thinking it's time for him to go. And I think you can maybe you can guess, maybe not. It's something that I think is becoming a theme with just about every team in this town right now. And that's the head coach, Mike Yeo. Yeah. We'll get deeper into that soon. But it's just he's always trying to, after this Pittsburgh game is a huge example. After the New York game, Philadelphia, He's always trying to send a message. Eventually, Mr. Yeo, the message is not going to be heard. And I think it's already getting to that point. Tonight's game against the New York Islanders, just moments ago ended. Well, not moments ago, but ended recently, we'll just say, is an indicator that something ain't right here. Because this is too much. This is too much. Every year the Wild, oh boy, this is gold. The Wild are doing fantastic. Mike Yeo is pushing all the right buttons. But then something happens along the way, maybe an injury or two. And it's like all these buttons he was pushing are all of a sudden the wrong buttons. And everything just goes down the you-know-what. The shitter, to be blunt. Again, you can just hear it in my voice right now. And it happens it's happened 3 years in a row now with Mike Yeo. It just seems like yesterday the Wild were they were the 3rd seed, then they're the 6th seed, which is okay because the Western Conference is so strong. But now, ladies and gentlemen, see, there was a time the Wild were still within very good striking distance of the Chicago Blackhawks, like 4 points or whatever. The Minnesota Wild are 15 points behind the Chicago Blackhawks, ladies and gentlemen. 15 points behind the Chicago Blackhawks. In fact, let's make it 16 to be, yes, it is 16 points. Not 15, it's 16. Chicago has 61 points, the Wild have 45. The Wild are now behind 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche, 12 points behind the St. Louis Blues. This is all just in the Central Division. The Wild are now tied with the Dallas Stars, ladies and gentlemen. The Dallas Stars. Only 4 points ahead of Winnipeg, who is a mere 500 team. Mike Yeo is back. He's back to the same thing again. The Wild have had injuries, but these shouldn't be like season-ending type injuries, but it's starting to look like it. My goodness. I mean, yes, I understand there have been injuries and it's hurt the team. But I mean, you got to beat New York and Philadelphia. And yes, the Wild lost 4-1 to both New York and Philadelphia. Now, the Pittsburgh game was Thursday, December the 19th, to give you the correct record. Sunday, December the 22nd, Minnesota heads to New York. They score early, and it's like, okay, all right. Cool. This is cool. Yeah, we lost to Pittsburgh, but we'll be fine. We're going to come right back, and we're going to kick this team's butt. Jason Pominville scoring from Mikhail Granlund and Ryan Suter. Mikhail Granlund's back, and just like that, 4 minutes into the game, Mikhail Granlund back on that second line, centering the second line. Jason Pominville scores his 17th of the year. Oh, all is right with the Wild. Here we go, rock and roll. That then, all of a sudden, nothing was. The Wild were generating minimal scoring pressure on minimal pressure on Cam Talbot. Yeah, not. Oh boy, I'm losing my mind right now. But yeah, not the number one goal in New York, but Cam Talbot. Yeah, Cam Talbot. They only get 25 shots on goal the entire game, and the New York Rangers get them past Mr. Backstrom again, and the defense is caught sleeping time and time again on those one-timers, power plays, all that good stuff. Guys. This has been the theme the whole week. Opposing players, forwards, have been crashing the net and have met no resistance from the Wild defensemen. No resistance whatsoever. And of course, the forwards on the Wild, of course, not finishing whatsoever, time and time and time again. Talbot slamming the door on them over and over and over. In the few times the Wild got, because this team is not. They're not setting up good plays. They're getting knocked off the puck, and then on defense, of course, like I said before, they're getting caught sleeping over and over again. They're not pushing guys away from the net. I just don't understand what the hell is going on with this team right now. A 4-1 debacle. Oh, and by the way, you know things aren't going well when an SOB like Benoit Pouliot scores his 5th goal of the year against you. Yeah, Benoit Pouliot. And that was a continuing theme pretty much the whole week. Ex-players scoring against the Wild, at least tonight. The other New York team, which is filled with former North Stars, former Wild and Gophers. I wish they're former North Stars. You know, I got to get my North Stars memory a bit back. Gosh, I just abandoned that. What the hell? But it's just, yeah, when I get into the shows, I get more into the Wild themselves, and then I forget all about the North Stars memory type thing. I'll bring that back at some point. I'm really sorry. In fact, I have a North Stars logo as the cover photo on the Facebook page. because I love the North Stars so damn much. Nothing against the Wild, but yeah, this game was just an utter, I just couldn't believe it. It was like the same thing every night, though, folks. This has been the same thing every night. The Wild can't score, and the other team is just getting right past us. They're sliding into the net, no one's challenging them, and bloop, up, they scored, and that's basically what's been going on. So the Wild head to Philadelphia just a couple nights later. What is it, Tuesday? I believe Tuesday, no, it's not the 24th. Monday the 23rd, I apologize, because it was Christmas week. I hope all of you had a Merry Christmas, by the way. I'm not afraid to say the words Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'll say Happy Holidays, too, but Merry Christmas to me is, yeah. Come on, it's Christmas is Christmas. It's not Happy Holidays in my mind, but okay, I don't need to get too heavy into that. It's a day, Say what the name of the day is, that's all. Just like you can say Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, you can say that too. Very easily. All right, Mikael Granlund, Jason Pominville, and Ryan Suter score the only goal again. So it's the same exact thing, just a little shuffling of the deck here. Nice little goal by Granlund. Really appreciate it, but this was after the Philadelphia Flyers score with less than 2 minutes into the game. Less than 2 minutes into the game, the Flyers score, and it's just like, oh boy, I could just sense what's coming. Midway through the first period, Wayne Simmons puts it in, his 9th goal of the year. Oh boy. 2-0 Philadelphia already. You could just feel it coming. Claude Giroux getting a goal and an assist along the way. Wayne Simmons with 2 goals in the game. And they were easy as pie. It's a combination of Backstrom's not that good, and the Wild defense is not bodying up on these guys. They're not pushing them away at all. They're just letting them through. It's just a load of succotash. It really is. It really is a load of succotash, man. Steve Mason looked like frickin' Ken Dryden out there, too, against the Wild's quote-unquote offense in this game. Just disgusting. It's nice to see the first line back together. Well, sort of, because now, obviously, at this point, Zach Parise out. To now, the Wild have moved up Nino Niederreiter to the first line with Mikko Koivu and Charlie Coyle. That is a interesting combination that's been it's been a little bit productive. Yeah, tonight it was pretty productive against the New York Islanders. We're getting to that sooner or later, but nothing too special along the way. Justin Fontaine, he's been doing all right, but who's going to be the Mike Maddow Award winner this week? I don't even know yet. And yes, this is the point when Stefan Veilleux got called up again for the Wild. And yeah, Eric Haula, who's been doing a nice job. He was the second line center for a while. Then they move him back down to the fourth line because Granny's back, Mikael Granlund. Very exciting. And then they just send him down. Like, the hell with him. The hell with him. He was sort of a factor, but whatever. So then Stefan Veilleux comes up, and the fourth line has been Rupp has been centering the fourth line a bit lately, along with Mr. Mitchell, Torrey Mitchell. Oh boy, you can just sense the frustration, can't you? Keith Ballard's kind of been getting on my nerves a little bit too. He's been kind of making dumb penalties and dumb turnovers. Overall, I still like him, and he's got a nice hockey IQ, but sometimes I wonder about that hockey IQ. Zenon Konopka is also in the fourth line at times. And this guy, I don't even know who centered the... Oh, yeah, it was Zenon Konopka. Yep, he centered the fourth line with Veilleux and Torrey Mitchell, who also played a little bit in other situations like penalty kill and a little third line and such, because that's what Mike Yeo does best, is shuffle people all over the place. But all there is to be said about this game is the Wild stunk. Yeah, they stunk. There's my Mike Yeo-ism right there. So now, a game you could kind of sort of call a feature presentation type game against the Winnipeg Jets last night. No, not last night, Friday night. Almost like, it's almost starting to become, with the way the fan base, they were really, really loud in this game. A 6-4 sloppy game. The first period was like, what the hell? Wild, and the Wild come out of the first period trailing 4-3 in this one. Danny Heatley netting his 8th goal of the year with Pominville and Granlund. He's been on the second line now, because obviously he's replacing Nino Niederreiter in that situation. Fontaine with his usual partners of Cook and Broziak. He scored in the game. That was actually a nice goal. And then Stefan Veilleux just shot the puck on net. And it went in. It just went right past the goalie. That was pretty cool. His first goal in like 17 years, probably in the NHL, with Mr. Spurgeon, and that being Jared Spurgeon, and Torrey Mitchell assisting on that. Yeah, Spurgeon getting the puck to Veilleux. Just let the puck loose. Sometimes that's what they say, hit the puck on net. Sometimes it just goes in, and that's what happened. Stefan Veilleux finally scoring a goal. Got to feel good for him right there. He looked extremely excited. The Wild up 3-2 after going down 2-1 very quickly. The goals were scored so quickly in that sequence there. It was the first 7 minutes. It was a 3-2 hockey game, by the way. Heatley scoring his 8th, as I mentioned. Then Evander Kane getting a shorthanded goal, a breakaway, horrible turnover. Ole Jokinen scoring in the game. Only 6 minutes into the game, it was 2-1. 6 minutes into the game, it was 2-1 Winnipeg. Then less than a minute later, Fontaine scored, and then Veilleux scored like 5 seconds later. Unbelievable. Oh, then Blake Wheeler and Dustin Byfuglien. Unbelievable. Oh, my goodness. 4-3 coming out of that first period. You could just sense this is like, you could just tell it's another sloppy game that's not going the Wild's way. Mikko Koivu did score to tie it up, and it's like, yeah! That was very exciting. The first line, or power play, Coyle, Pominville, and Koivu factoring in that one. That was a nice one indeed. But then Blake Wheeler scoring again midway through the third, and you just knew for sure things weren't going well. And then in the end, the Wild had a very good chance they had multiple chances to score. Next thing you know, Tobias Enstrom, now this is obviously when the Wild had the empty net. They were doing what they could against Montoya, who was much better than Pavelec. Pavelec got his ass kicked early on. They took him out right away after the first 3 goals. But then Al Montoya took over. Wild looked like they were going to score and tie this thing up. It looked like there was a chance. It was 5-4 in favor of Winnipeg at the time. And then, where am I? And then Tobias Enstrom just lets the puck go from like basically full rink distance, and it goes in. Whatever. Game over. Wild lose 6-4, and Winnipeg fans were pretty much Green Bay Packer-like, streaming like madmen and women. So frustrating. Very rowdy Winnipeg crowd. I'm sure they're a little more classy than the Green Bay Packer fan base, but they're rowdy. Oh, man. It's already becoming somewhat of a rivalry, and I'm looking forward to it, but it sure ain't fun losing to them, I'll tell you that. The Wild were up. Let's see, the Wild were up, 3-0 so far in the season series, and then Winnipeg getting the win last night. The Wild amazingly were up 3-0 in this series, so there will be a series finale Monday, April the 7th, next time these two teams meet up for their 5th and final matchup in this division, the Central Division. It's becoming fun, but boy, that was a mess. Wild defense was terrible. Backstrom letting in pucks. It's almost like you shoot to Backstrom's shoulder. It's like you're screwed. You're gonna, we're screwed anyway. I mean, Backstrom's gonna let it by. It seems like that's what's been going on throughout things with the Winnipeg Jets. So, with that, it's time to look towards tonight's game. Yeah, it was a beauty. It was just wonderful, wasn't it? As tonight, yes, as mentioned, the Minnesota Wild lose 5-4 to the New York Islanders. Oh, but it didn't look like it was going to head this way. No, the Wild looked like they had this one in the bag. Ryan Suter scoring his first goal of the year, assisted by Mike Rupp and Torrey Mitchell. A very, very unlikely group here, at least in a lot of ways, I guess you could say, with Suter actually scoring, not getting an assist. Basically, he's usually getting assists. But this one was able to go in. Mike Rupp and Torrey Mitchell. Rupp with his first assist of the year. Torrey Mitchell with his 7th. Only 3 minutes into the game, it's like, yeah, we'll be fine. Things are going great. But then there was no scoring again the rest of the period. But then right out of the gate in the second period, Jonas Brodin scoring on a shot. Assisted by Koivu and Niederreiter, but a really nice shot by Brodin. But at the same time, it looked kind of easy, too. Went right past Pauline, right past him, and boy, he likes to skate around and get like a madman when he gets scored on. It's pretty kind of funny to watch. things felt really good, but then right away again, Niederreiter. In fact, a lot of people thought Niederreiter scored that first goal from Brodin, but no, it was Brodin. It was Brodin. Brodin actually was able to get the goal there, but then Niederreiter did score only about 2 minutes later. 3-0 Wild. Pauline just beside himself with frustration. And I was like, all's right here. 3-0 Minnesota. Yeah, there we go. That's a way to put the clamps on that frustrating week. 4-game losing streak, losing to all these Eastern Conference teams. Here comes this awful New York Islanders team with Thomas Vanek, by the way. But still, an awful Islanders team with Cal Clutterbuck, by the way, and John Tavares and Kyle Poso and guys like that. And Thomas Hickey, whoever the heck that is, right? Thomas Hickey. Thomas Hickey, indeed. Thomas Hickey. Well, yeah, he was a first-round pick, but still, I mean, yeah, what kind of first-round pick is this? 10 points total in the NHL. First-round flicking pick, and 10 points in the NHL so far. So not quite exactly, not quite exactly Mr. Blue Chip, king of the world out there. Not exactly John Tavares level. 4th overall pick, by the way. So a lot of times, those are times those top 5 guys don't always pan out. Thomas Hickey's one of them. Oh, yeah. He had a goal and 2 assists tonight. Only 3 points for Thomas Hickey. He had 10 points in his career before tonight's game. 10 points in his career before tonight's game. 10 points. He got 3 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Hickey. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas Hickey got 3 points. Yeah, but the Wild were up 3-0, though, early in the second period. This is going to be a blowout. The Wild are fine. They're going to be fine. But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the Islanders scored. Oh, how cute. The first line for Chicago. For New York, John Tavares, Thomas Vanek, and Kyle Oposo all factoring in on that one. But, hey, that's cute. Yeah. Oh, well, at least, it's not going to be a shutout for Josh Harding in his first game back. Welcome back, by the way. Yeah, welcome back, by the way, Josh Harding. He didn't look so hot either, but no, he really didn't look too good either, but still, this is just what the hell. But yeah, it's cute. The 3-1 game, it'll be fine. But then a minute to go, and of all people, Cal freaking Clutterbuck with Thomas Hickey and Brock Nelson. Cal freaking Clutterbuck scoring his 5th goal of the year to make it 3-2, and it's like, well, all right then. This is suddenly not a fun little easy game for the Wild anymore. No, it's a 3-2 game with only a minute left in the second. And it just seemed like from here on, it just was like all Islanders. They were all pretty much in the Wild zone the whole time. Wild couldn't generate any type of good scoring chance for the most part. The defense was pathetic, and Josh Harding, not so hot. Certainly, this looks like the Josh Harding before this year, when he would go out there and just stink and get his ass kicked. This is like the old Josh Harding tonight. The old Josh Harding. Yeah. Yeah, the old Josh Harding. Thomas Hickey scoring his 2nd goal of the season. Colin McDonald, Ryan Strom assisting on that one to tie it up, and it's just like the tension in that building, the XL Energy Center, by the way, not New York's old building, not over there in the New York Islanders on the aisle. They're not quite in Brooklyn yet. They're still on the aisle right now. Yeah, not quite there yet. XL Energy Center. Wild had won 4 games in a row at home, and they've just been dominant at home all year. Terrible road team, without a doubt, and they sure looked like it, but hey, we're at home and we're playing a bad team. No reason we should lose this one. No reason at all. 6 minutes later, Kyle Oposo with his goal. It's like, oh my God, the Islanders are ahead. We actually might lose this thing, but there's still plenty of time left. Justin Fontaine toughing it out there, toughing it out on his 3rd line, getting his 8th goal of the year. He's one of the only players on the Wild that seems to, of late anyway, that seems to have a nose up by the, getting up to the goal, crashing the net a bit. Niederreiter generally does it, though, and he's fairly effective, obviously, and he's going against his old team. You got to think he's got something to prove, and he did have 2 points tonight. But of late, it just seems like the Wild haven't been crashing the net, but we've been allowing our opponents to do it nonstop against us with no resistance whatsoever. But Justin Fontaine, another gritty close-up to the net goal. Danny Heatley's been the guy that's been doing that also of late. It's the only way he scores nowadays, Danny Heatley. But Fontaine able to finish, tie this thing up. 13:45 remaining in the game. It's like, all right, it's tied up. Hopefully the Wild can get this done. Maybe a nice clutch Mikko Koivu goal. No, there's no clutch Mikko Koivu goal at all whatsoever in this one. And just a few seconds later, Kyle Okposo with his second goal of the year. Stunned silence in the arena. 5-4 in the New York Islanders. And the Wild started to get really, really tight, holding their sticks real tight at this point. And, yeah, they were playing desperate, attacking the Islanders in their zone. Pauline attacking him like crazy. But really, there was nothing there. No, nothing of it. Every time it looked like the Wild had some type of shot, they would fan on the puck, they'd fall over, they'd get the puck knocked away. Islanders would just clear it down the ice without getting an icing. And, yeah, that's just all there was to it down the stretch. 5-4. And the boos started flying down. But then the cheers started coming because there was a big fight. But who cares if there's a big fight? What's there to cheer about? Just boo, guys. Boo. Screw the cheering because a couple guys start beating up on the Islanders because they're frustrated. Yeah, go ahead and beat up on the Islanders if that's going to rev the crowd up or something. There's nothing to rev up right now when you're blowing a 3-0 lead against the New York Islanders at home. There's nothing to get excited about at all. Just boo the you-know-what out of this team with the way they have played of late. And tonight's game was an absolute exclamation point on the past 5 games. So it just figures out all 5 of these games wound up on one episode. And this is the Joey you're getting right now. You can tell I want to win so bad, and I love this team, but as we're going to wrap up the game reviews here, who do I give the negative stuff? The positives. Well, we are going to go with the Mike Modano Awards here. Before I get into some Mike Yeo talk here. Mike Modano and James Shepard Memorial. Who gets the Mike Modano Award? Oh, boy. Koivu is one of the leaders. Granlund has... I'm going to give it to... Oh, boy, it's tough. It really is. I mean, Niederreiter's been... He had a good game tonight, but he's been semi-quiet of late. And then before that, it was pretty much the second... pretty much that little second line guy group that was helping us against Pittsburgh and New York and Philadelphia. The Winnipeg game was all over the place. There's a lot of Koivu points in this one. Fontaine has been solid. Heatley, that one is kind of all over the place, to be honest. Stefan Veilleux getting a goal, which is really funny. Oh boy, I'm gonna give it to Kyle Granlund this week because some people may disagree, agree. I don't even know. I guess you just have your opinions, and that's all there is to it. But to return from the concussion, and it doesn't seem like he's lost a step at all. He really looks good. Maybe he has lost a little bit of a step temporarily, but I haven't personally noticed it. I think he's been excellent out there, and he was able to take hits and all that stuff, and he's factored in right out of the gate. He's really been he's been out there on the power play with Koivu and Pominville, and he's a factor. He's one of the main reasons why people are getting scoring chances for this desert right now. I mean, the offense is a desert for the most part. And yeah, we scored 4 goals tonight, but generally the offense hasn't been good. So I'm just saying, and we scored 4 against Winnipeg too. But I'm just saying, I mean, overall the offense is pretty weak, like the 5-1, 5-2 crap, 4-1 crap that we've been going through. But Mikael Granlund has been really factor, so he gets the Mike Modano Award. I better stop rambling. The other one, the James Shepard Memorial, I'll go with Marco Scandella because it seemed like time after time he was a guy standing around basically when opponents were getting one-timers on us. He wasn't, and a lot of times he was standing there very close to the man that scored. And the frustration was off the charts for myself. That Philadelphia game, the New York game, Winnipeg. What the hell, Scandella? Put a body on somebody. Keith Ballard is also going to get the James Shepard Memorial as well. Too many mistakes, too many penalties, and put a body on somebody, please. It's just embarrassing to watch. So the Wild defensemen have been really frustrating for me of late. It's really, really getting to me. Nicholas Backstrom is escaping this one. Consider yourself lucky, Nicholas, because your defense was so bad they made you look even worse. So they're the ones getting the slap in the face right now, not you. So congratulations there, I suppose. Oh my! So there you go. I'm going to conclude the game reviews with I'm going to say again, Mike Yeo is the wrong coach for this team. The Minnesota Wild need a veteran coach. Yes, there are young players on this team that could respond to him, like the Charlie Coyles, the Mikhail Granlunds, Nito Niederreiters, and such. And I appreciate that part of it. But the veterans, he is pushing the wrong buttons with the veterans of this team. It's gotten to a point that they're rolling their eyes and the message is not being heard. And it's been pretty much, and the veterans are the Koivus, the Suitors, the Parisis. You don't pay $100 million to have the wrong coach to coach that $100 million. And that's what's going on right now. $200 million, I might add. $100 million each to those two guys. Mike Yeo is the wrong coach. They need a veteran coach for this team. We could sure use a Ken Hitchcock type. Peter Laviolette, maybe, but I don't know. Laviolette's one of those guys who's good for a while and then he wears out his welcome. I don't know if he's the guy you want. I think Ken Hitchcock could be a better one. Could have really used the former Buffalo Sabres coach. That would be a really good move as well. But it's got to be a guy like that. Lindy Ruff, pardon me. It's got to be somebody like that. When you had a Craig McTavish, it sounded like the Wild were about to sign him. He helped the Edmonton Oilers go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton Oilers, man, without Gretzky or Messier or Yari Curry and blah blah blah. Much different Edmonton Oilers team went to the Stanley Cup Finals with Craig McTavish. Peter Laviolette won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes. Ken Hitchcock won a Stanley Cup with the Dallas Stars. Lindy Ruff had very competitive teams, went to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Buffalo Sabres, kept them very competitive for many years. So that's the kind of coach I think that this Minnesota Wild team needs, not Mike Yeo. Mike Yeo is a AHL coach at this stage, or a team that's starting from the ground up. That's what Mike Yeo is, I think. Not necessarily an expansion team, but a team that's all young guys, maybe with some veterans that have never done anything. Like the Mike Rupps, stuff like that. No offense, Mike Rupp, no offense, but you get the idea there. The fourth line type of guys that are, that's your veterans are the fourth line guys. That's about what kind of team that Mike Yeo should be coaching, not a team that's serious about contending for a Stanley Cup at some point here. I just don't see Mike Yeo as that guy. So there you go. We will take us a quick break. We will preview the coming week, and of course a very brief checkup in the AHL with one of the Wild's prospects is doing well. A guy that's been mentioned quite a bit and has played on the Wild this year. He's starting to show signs. Yes, we'll be right back right after this.
Shop on Amazon. Did you know that you can support this podcast just by doing your normal shopping on Amazon? It's really easy to do. Just go to thesportstuff.com and click on one of the many Amazon pictures. Do your normal shopping, and Amazon sees that we referred you, and they give us a percentage. We'd like to thank you in advance for supporting thesportstuff.com, and please use our Amazon link. Now enjoy the rest of the show.
We are going round like Saturn
are back here on Brave the Wild, episode number 73, which is a reminder for those of you on your mobile devices like the iPhones, iPod Touches, and stuff. Simply look for Brave the Wild on iTunes for Apple devices. For Android devices, download the Double Twist app or any type of application that mirrors iTunes. Double Twist is the one that I'm aware of. Simply search for Brave the Wild in the podcast section. So you have to search for the podcast section on that one first. Just, it's a button. And on Windows phones and or the Surface and such, go in the store. Simply search for Brave the Wild there. Same for BlackBerry devices. Here we are to preview the upcoming week with the Minnesota Wild. My predictions were so good for so long, and then it was just phew, this past week. Well, I was 1-2 last week. Let's see what I can do this week. Minnesota Wild host St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis, that team with a way better record than us now that we were so close to at one point in time. Now 12 points behind the St. Louis Blues. Almost hopelessly behind them, which really sucks. Yeah, we host the St. Louis Blues on our traditional New Year's Eve game. Traditional New Year's Eve game, 6 p.m., Tuesday, December the 31st. Oh, goody, the St. Louis Blues come to town. Oh, I'm so excited. It's gone so well for us. Yeah, it's really gone well. Great series for the Wild, isn't it? Yeah, it's been great. Well, we've only played once this year, and it was a 3-1 spanking in St. Louis. Complete non-factor. Yeah, the Wild host the game. That helps, but I'm not really feeling all too confident in this one. 26-7-5 are the St. Louis Blues. Talent up and down the roster. Very good team indeed. The goaltending situation is decent. I mean, they're not phenomenal, but they're good. They have two goalies that are more than adequate. The scoring is just, oh my God, it's all over the place. I mean, their sixth leading scorer is 27 points. That's 1 point less than Jason Pominville and Mikko Koivu, who lead the Wild in scoring. Jay Baumeister, 26 points only. That's only 26 points. Alex Pietrangelo, 8th on the team in scoring with 23 points. You got Alexander Sheen, David Backes, and TJ Oshie, all with over 30 points. Derek Roy, oh my God. Kevin Shattenkirk, Jaden Schwartz. Oh, it just goes on and on. So, I can't pick the Wild to win this one. The way things have been going, and with the likelihood Mike Yeo will be the freaking coach still, I think the Wild lose this one 3-1. Yeah, like Jason Pominville, and I'm just going to guess this straight out. The second line will score the only goal against the St. Louis Blues. It's going to be Pominville, Granlund, and like not Niederreiter, like Heatley, I guess, will be included in this one, unless Zach Parise comes back, which he might. We'll see. Actually, no, he's on IR, so he can't. That's great. So we won't be seeing Zach Parise tonight. Obviously, that's one of three. St. Louis is the second one, and hopefully after the third game, Mr. Parise will be back skating with the Wild again. They could sure use the help, and I'm sure his foot could use the healing. Wild lose 3-1 to the St. Louis Blues. Oh, goody. Might as well say 4-1. Yeah, let's make it 4-1, the way things have been going of late. Trying not to be negative. So now we usher in the new year. Ooh, the new year. It's 2014. That means Justin Fontaine's going to be awesome because it's 14, right? Okay, that made no sense. Wild host the Buffalo Sabres and Washington Capitals. I like the Wild's chances on Thursday, January 2nd against the Buffalo Sabres. I like them a lot. Buffalo Sabres are a team that is in tank mode. They are 11-24. They are going nowhere right now. I have no faith in that team whatsoever. Why would you pick the Buffalo Sabres to win this game? You'd be nuts. Minnesota defeats the Buffalo Sabres in a rout, a 4-1 butt kicking. No, it's going to be a game. I mean, the Wild need some help. This is a team that scores less than the Wild and gives up more goals than the Wild, which is impressive considering how poor the Wild have been playing of late. Cody Hodgson has 19 points in 33 games. That's the main guy. Matt Molson as well. Of course, I believe he's. Yeah, I mean things are just not really going well for the Buffalo Sabres. If the Wild lose this one, they should just be fired. Yeah. The Wild cannot lose this game. That would be an absolute joke. You just do not lose this game, guys. Don't lose to the Buffalo Sabres. I think the Wild pull this one off. I'm almost It's like I'm always saying 3-1. No, Bill, no, I was going 4-1 to St. Louis. So I'll go with a 3. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Wild win because the offense has been. Oh no, the offense has been picking up late. We'll go with a. I'm going to go with a 4-2 game. I don't think Buffalo's going to score 2 goals. 4-2 because the goaltending and the defense has been so pathetic for the Wild. 4-2 win for Minnesota, hosting the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday the 2nd. So we'll wrap up the preview here, hosting the Washington Capitals on January the 4th. Yes, sir. That'll be nice. So a nice little homestand for the Wild, including the St. Louis Blues, as mentioned. Wild do not win that game. Washington is playing fairly well, though. They're not really in the tank mode, but then again, they only have 2 less losses than the Wild so far this year, so they're not exactly dominating. The Wild lost in Washington earlier this year, 3-2 in a shootout. So it wasn't really 3-2, but you know what I mean. The de facto 3-2 dealie. Washington Capitals are a team. I mean, they're Jekyll and Hyde. They're also second place in the Metropolitan Division, so they're at least semi-competitive in the not as good Eastern Conference. They really give up goals, though. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Braden Holtley is averaging 3 goals a game so far this year. The backups are doing a little bit better. One of them is averaging almost 3 goals a game, almost 3, and the other, Philip Grobler, is averaging 2.18 a game. But hey, the Wild should be able to score in this team if Mr. Holtley is the main goalie in this one. I hope he is. In fact, that would be great. The Wild might actually win the game. But, Washington can score. Nicholas Backstrom and Alex Ovechkin are kind of like the Pittsburgh Penguins over there, like Crosby and Malkin right now. Really dominant. 30 goals already for Alex Ovechkin, but only 11 assists. Nicholas Backstrom, the other Nicholas Backstrom, with basically opposite statistics, 10 goals, 34 assists, but dominant nonetheless. And then at least a second line that's fairly solid as well in Washington. I'm just not as confident as I had been in the past. I think the Wild lose this one, unfortunately. I think it's going to be like 3-2 again. I think it's going to be 3-2, possibly a shootout, maybe 4-3 type situation. Maybe the Wild tie it up, make it 3-3, and the Wild lose. I'll go with that. 4-3, Washington, either in the shootout or in regulation, whatever it is, or overtime. Washington wins, unfortunately, so I have a 1-2 Wild week this week. With the way things are going, I'm not feeling good right now. Hopefully they prove me wrong and they just go out there and at least go 2-1, maybe 3-0 in this one. I think there's virtually no chance the Wild defeat the St. Louis Blues, and I'm really, really sorry to say. That sucks because that would be a huge emotional boost for the Minnesota Wild if they were able to do that. So going into the coming week, where are we? Yeah, Tuesday, January the 7th. So I'm going to leave that alone. Hopefully I'll have another show before then. Boy, I don't like who the matchup is. But yeah, hopefully I'll have another show before then, possibly Sunday night. I'm going to try to do that if possible, get into this show on Sunday nights. I think that'd be a nice idea. So we will see how things go. Maybe even Saturday night, depending on what's going on with things. That'd be actually kind of a good idea to do it Saturday night because it'd be fresh off that Washington game. We'll see. It all depends, but I try to keep it at least early, in the week or on Saturday, Sunday, Monday-ish, if possible. Well, Saturday, Sunday-ish, if possible. So generally, if I don't record on Saturday or Sunday night, I would record Brave the Wild usually Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday would be the absolute latest, but I think Tuesday is generally I'm going to try to not have to have it on Tuesdays. I'd prefer to have it on the weekend. So, yeah, that would be nice. All right. So, there you go. 1-2 week for the Wild. And really the highlight of the Iowa Wild check-in is Eric Halla, who went back to Iowa and is becoming a little more of a factor down there. He now has 16 points in only 22 games, actually. So, he's actually leading the team in scoring now, where before he was like the 4th or 5th leading scorer. And, when he was there for the whole season, he goes back there and suddenly takes the team lead in scoring. So that's encouraging to see. Other than that, it's just the same old story, like I've been saying from pretty much the whole year, where really no one's really standing out except for the career minor leaguers, Jonathan Blum and Brian Connolly, who are both defensemen, and they're putting up nice numbers for a defenseman. But, well, the way some of the Wild defensemen are playing right now, I don't know. Maybe see what they can do at the NHL level for like a maybe 2 or 3, 4 game stretch. Just see what they can do. Sometimes some guys emerge. It's very unlikely, but once in a while, you can get something out of it. I mean, heck, look at Wes Walz. It was a career minor leaguer in the Wild system. I mean, or no, not in the Wild system, but in the Calgary Flames system and such. Jonathan Blum is very young, though. He is very young, but not exactly like the super prospect with the Wild overall. He's been in the minor leagues most of the time, so yeah, that's a guy I would look at. He's playing very well, actually. Connolly is the one that's a little bit older. Yep, he's about 27. So he's already kind of sort of a veteran already. So that's what I'm saying, where he's more of a career minor leaguer. Blum is only about 24. So you never know. You never know. Jake Dowell, that's definitely a veteran, and he's not really scoring much anyway. He's like a third, fourth line center down in there in the minors. So the Tyler Kumas of the world, just the same old story. Yeah, and he's been out for a while as well. It's just, yeah, again, that's Tyler Kuma. Unproductive, and when he's healthy, and he rarely is. So there you go. Very unfortunate right there. Iowa Wild not having a good year, and nobody's really standing out. Even the goalies, the two goalies, Johan Gustafsson and Darcy Comfort, not really making anyone excited about, like, ooh, we got to bring one of them up one of these days. Can't wait to see them. No. Oh, Matt Hackett. Oh, thank God we got Jason Pominville out of that deal, at least. Whew. I mean, if you're going to give up Matt Hackett, it better be with somebody who's good, or it better be for somebody who's good. Oh, man. It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, Matt Hackett with the, Rochester Americans in the AHL, his numbers aren't so good either. So that figure's really pretty much on par with Darcy Comfort and Johan Gustafsson. So I guess I feel a little bit better about that now. Yeah, he's averaging almost 3 goals a game in 20 games for the Rochester Americans in the AHL, has not been called up to the NHL level with the Buffalo Sabres. So, oh well, too bad, so sad. That actually starting to look like a better trade than some of us may have feared. And Johan Larsson, the other piece in that trade, the other chip in that trade, in only 13 games with the Rochester Americans, 9 points. So, not bad. Fairly productive, actually, compared to some of the guys in the Wild's system, in the Iowa Wild, that is. So, whatever. Look at me just going way too much into all this minor league stuff. Apologize. Hope you didn't mind that, though. I mean, hey, it's important to check in on some of those guys that the Wild did trade away for Jason Pominville. It's not really looking like, I don't know. I don't think either one of them is really going to be much in the NHL the way things are looking. So, grand scheme of things, it could be one. That could go down as one of the awesome trades of Cliff Fletcher's career. He's had to make up for a couple like the Nick Lettys and such who look good with Chicago. Where whoever. I'm not even going to get into who he got for that. I don't even want to talk about him anymore. Okay, Cam Barker, but that's it. That's how far I'm going to go on that one. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Remember the call-in line, 209-736-7877. Remember to call into that. There's the Facebook page. Just simply go to the search bar, type in Brave the Wild, Minnesota Wild Show. Go there, click like. Twitter account is at Brave the Wild. Thanks again for listening. Do tell a friend about the show. Yes, there's got to be some more hockey fans out there. Do tell a friend about the show. And if you can, please rate us on iTunes. Rate the show on iTunes. Give us a nice rating. Say what you like about the show. Or if you just simply want to click on the stars. But hopefully you could say something. I mean, you can keep it brief if you don't want to say too much. I mean, you don't have to think about it too much. So don't worry if that's what's holding people back from posting any type of review on there. You don't have to think about too much. Okay, so don't worry about it. Thanks for listening. And we will be back soon. Eventually, I'm sure Neil Nate Dog Thiesing will be back, ready to rock and roll. I got to get him back in studio. I don't really like that over the phone stuff that much. It sounds better to have him with me. And no, it's not really a studio. You get the idea. Back in studio, though, talking about the Minnesota Wild yet again. Thank you again so much for joining. We'll be back next week. Hopefully a better week than I'm originally forecasting for this one. Happy New Year to all of you, and we will be back in 2014.